Coach, we're learning a lot about the game of bowling, right? But I want to start paying attention to my score. So what actually is a game of bowling?
It's really simple. A game of bowling is just 10 frames, and in each of those 10 frames, you got the potential for 2 deliveries or 2 balls. Now in that 10th frame, you do have a chance to have 1 extra bonus, but you got to do something special to get to that bonus shot.
Okay, so let's take a look at a game, putting some marks in there of what could happen, and let's use some bowling terminology. We got the first 4 frames of a game, and in the first frame, I did something really good. I left a single pin, but I made the spare.
That's great. That gives us a 9 and a spare in the first frame. So now we have to wait for our next delivery to get our score.
Second frame, I got really good. I followed all the tips that I've learned, and I knocked them all down. I got a strike.
That's excellent. Now with a strike, we simply draw an X in the box, and now we can add up our first frame. Our first frame is going to be 10 pins, plus the next ball, because we had a spare, which is our strike in our second frame. We take 10 plus the 10 in the second frame, and now we have 20 for the first frame.
In the third frame, I might have gotten a little lucky and, you know, had another pin, hit another pin, but I knocked them all down, got another strike, and I believe this is called a double.
That's excellent. That really helps our score. Now with a double, we have to find out what the score is for our second frame. So we simply take our strike from the second frame, which is 10 pins, and since it's a strike, we get the next 2 deliveries added to that 10. So we have to wait for the first ball in our next frame before we can add up the score in the second.
All right, I got a little nervous. I admit it, I got excited and I got nervous at the same time. And I got 8 on my first shot, left 2 standing, but I only got 1. I'm not happy.
Well, that's okay. It was nice that we had the 2 strikes before that. We need to get our score for the second frame. With our strike in the second frame, adding that to the 20 we had in the first frame, that's 20 plus 10 for 30. We get 2 more deliveries. So our strike in the third frame now gives us 40, and then our next delivery was an 8, so now we have 48 in the second frame. For our third frame, we also have another strike, and we get 2 more deliveries. So we take our 48 from our second frame, we add 10 for our strike in the third, and then we add a total of 9 from our 8-1 in the fourth. 48 plus 10 plus 9, we get 67 in the third frame. And with that last frame that was an open frame, we simply add the score to whatever was in the frame before it. So our 67 plus 9 is going to give us 76 for our 4 frames.
Well, that's not so bad. I mean, I'm just getting into the swing of things, and gosh, I did get 2 strikes. So you know what? These tips really got me going on the right track. I'm out here on the lanes, and I'm missing my target. I'm missing that head pin, and I'm not having any fun. What do I do, Coach Steven?
It can get real overwhelming really fast. The game can get complicated. There are literally hundreds of different adjustments you can make when it comes to trying to just get your ball to the pocket. Some of the higher performance players, they'll move their target, they'll move their eyes, they'll move their place on the approach. They'll do literally hundreds of different things to try and get that ball to the head pin. Ultimately, we want to keep it real simple.
Simple. I like it. One thought. Let's see how we do it. If you are consistently missing the head pin to the right, your moves on the approach should be in the direction of the miss. So now moving your feet a few boards to the right and keeping your eye on the same target should get you to the head pin. If you're consistently missing the head pin to the left, you now need to make the move in the direction of that miss. So now move your feet a couple of boards left, but make sure to keep your eye on the same target. This should allow you to hit the head pin. It doesn't matter what level bowler you are. It's very easy to make adjustments. If you're missing to the right, move your feet a couple of boards to the right. We suggest a standard maybe 2 to 3 boards for that move. If you're missing to the left, make sure you move your feet in the direction of that miss, 2 to 3 boards to the left. The key element here, keep your eyes on the same target, and you should start hitting the head pin again.
Let's talk about the balance and the finish position. We're going to talk about where the opposite arm goes. We're going to talk about what a good balanced finish position looks like. From the pivot step, or the last step before the slide, as she goes into the finish of her approach, she's going to follow through, and her opposite arm is going to balance her swing. It's almost always out to the opposite side for balance. When she swings the arm back, it's slightly forward. When she swings the ball forward, it comes right to the side, and this opposite arm helps maintain balance for the whole body, and especially the arm swing as it follows through. Also important in relationship to the opposite arm is how it starts. So we're going to back up on the approach. And we just want to be aware of where the opposite arm goes when we start our approach. So from her starting position, as she gets into her first step, the opposite arm is going to stay slightly out in front of her. And for most beginning bowlers, this arm, once she gets into her approach, is going to stay by her side all the way through to her finish position. When we get to a higher level player, or we get to a more advanced high average bowler, that opposite arm stays in front longer, and then as they finish, they tend to bring the arm by their side and slightly behind them to finish their approach. So, balance at the finish position and the opposite arm are two big keys that you can use when you're trying to improve your game and to increase your scores. Okay, leading into the finish position, we want to notice what the opposite arm is doing, and a lot of bowlers have a tendency when they slide into the foul line to put their opposite arm on top of their sliding leg. This is not good for balance. Another thing that we see players do when they get from their pivot step into their finish position is they'll take their opposite arm and they'll bring it way up into the air. It's too high and it causes imbalance again. One more thing that we see that a lot of players struggle with is they just don't know where to put that arm. So when they follow through, it's all over the place. It can be behind them, beside them, in front of them. It can be everywhere. Ultimately, we want it as balanced as we can and right by the side. We're all aiming for a strike. And for the right-handed bowler, the strike pocket starts with that 1 and 3 pin. Now the perfect strike is the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 9. For the left-handed bowler, the 1 and the 2 pin are the target. For that perfect strike, the ball goes through the 1, the 2, the 5, and the 8. No matter how the pins fall, when all 10 pins fall down, we're still going to get a strike, and that's our goal.
Most bowling centers you're going to go into have a place like this. This is called the Pro Shop. This is where the professional ball driller can fit you and give you a ball that will fit your hand and add pins to your game. It also has a lot of other things besides bowling balls. It has bowling shoes. It has apparel. The best thing is that Pro Shop operator is there for you. If you have any questions, they are the people you should go to. They're going to help you out with your game. If you need tape for your bowling ball, the Pro Shop is the place to go. Eventually, the more you love the sport, the Pro Shop is the place you're going to visit. Don't you just hate it when you show up to league every week and you're fighting to find that right house ball, the one that's just perfect for you, but you try swinging it, you almost drop it, it's too heavy, the finger holes don't fit. It's such a hassle. So it's the same scene every week. You're at league, you're using your house ball that doesn't fit, and you drop it. And there's frustration. You're not knocking down any pins. And I'm not even sure your teammate can help you. It doesn't fit, it's big, so now you pull the ball, you're barely hitting down pins. See, this is frustration. As you can see, nobody's having a good time. The ball's going in the gutter, the ball is too heavy, it just doesn't fit. But with the visit to the Pro Shop, things are going to get better.
My name is Cindy and I'm a brand new bowler and I need to get this ball drilled.
Hi Cindy, I'm Jason. No problem. Let's go ahead and get your hand measured so we can make sure your new ball fits you properly. That way you'll be knocking down more pins and having more fun.
Awesome.
Just gonna have you relax your hand and lay your hand over the top here. Now since you're new to bowling, we're gonna go ahead and start you with a conventional grip. Even though you're using a high performance ball, we wanna make sure you're nice and comfortable with what the ball's gonna do and feel like in your hand, okay? Cindy, looks like we got all your measurements here, so give me about a half an hour to get that ball drilled. If you'd like to wait, you can, or you can make a little run to the snack bar and grab a soda.
Okay, thanks.
Cindy, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and have you roll a couple to me on the floor to make sure it comes off your hand, okay? Now Cindy, as a new bowler, you're probably used to having to hang onto the house balls and grip onto them really tight. This ball fits your hand. It's actually been drilled to fit you. So you won't have to squeeze onto it near as hard, just nice and easy, swing the ball back and roll it to me. That came off really easy, very good. One thing I wanted to let you know, Cindy, The house balls you were using before, one, didn't fit your hand, and two, went very straight. So now with a high performance ball that's actually measured and drilled to your hand, you're going to see a little more hook and a lot more pin action. So you may have to stand in a part of the lane that you're not quite accustomed to. Cindy, thank you for coming in today. If you should have any questions about the fit of the ball or the way it's rolling down the lane, please come back and see me. And also, if you want to schedule maybe a full lesson, come back and see me in the pro shop, okay? Oh, one more thing. Welcome to bowling.
Thank you.
All right, look at that, a perfect strike, just what we want to see. Teresa did a great job going through all of her steps. Let's take a quick look and rewind this back and see what it all looks like. Here she is, she picks up the ball correctly off the ball return. She places her hand in the ball the right way. She walks up to the approach, she looks left and right to make sure her lane courtesy is there. She steps on the approach into her setup position, and from there she's balanced. She keeps her wrist firm in her setup, and she's aligned toward her target. Now she goes all the way through her steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, into her finish position. When she finishes, a great release. Great balance at the foul line. The trail leg is over underneath her for balance. Her opposite arm is out to maintain balance as well. Right over her target and right in the pocket.
So here we are. We've learned a lot about bowling. Week 1, we introduced you to the sport, the approach, the lane, and also the basic 4-step delivery, which is the fundamentals of bowling. In week 2, we taught you about good posture that's going to lead to good leverage and a good follow through. In week 3, it was all about spare shooting. I know we want to strike, but sometimes we do leave some pins standing, and we taught you how to make the moves on the approach so you can make your spares. And in week 4, we put everything together. We reviewed the fundamentals of bowling. We told you where to go if you decide you want your own personally custom-fitted bowling ball. And we even taught you some bowling terminology that makes you a real bowler. Have fun and enjoy this lifelong sport, and good luck.
Welcome back. Before you go out on the lanes to work with your coach and put into practice what you just learned in Lesson 4, we want to take a minute and thank you for choosing bowling and being part of the Bowling 2.0 movement. Over the last 4 weeks, you've learned the basics so you can enjoy the great game of bowling and make it a lifetime sport. But it doesn't stop here. Your bowling center has a great program starting next week so you can keep working on developing your bowling skills and have fun with your family and friends. I hope you make plans to be at your center next week. You know, there's something always going on at the International Bowling Campus, and we want to show you a short video with all the things there are to see and do. We hope you make plans to stop by and visit us, but until then, go bowling, have fun, and we'll see you out on the lanes.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the International Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame. Here, you'll discover lots of fun and interesting facts about the fascinating world of bowling.
Hi, name's Ronnie. I work as a pin boy. You could say that the bowling business has its ups and downs. We set the pins up, and the customers knock them down. Extra, read all about it.
1901, Buffalo, New York. Teddy Roosevelt sworn in as youngest president in U.S. history. That same year, the American Bowling Congress holds its first tournament in Chicago.
Bowling has a unique tradition of making heroes out of regular people.
There it goes. That crossbar. That crossbar. Oh, there it goes. 2 in a row. How do you like that?
Bowling got a shot in the arm with the repeal of Prohibition in 1933. Bowling teams and sponsors began springing up across America.
In the stance position, start with your weight on the soles of your feet.
No picture would be complete without a trick shot from Andy. Oh, brother.
It's a facility unlike any other. The International Training and Research Center is the focal point of the governing body of the sport of bowling, as USBC tests it all for the good of the game.
Yeah, this place is great because we can simulate any center from virtually around the world. Not only that, but we're testing balls and pins as well as lane oils, lane conditioners, cleaners, lane surfaces. We do all that here, and that's really important because we need to make sure that it's a fair game for everybody.
It also serves as the home to Team USA. The national team has a dedicated facility for training, and the athletes feel that their home base gives them an edge.
This place is awesome. We have a gym, we have the best coaches in the world, we have these lanes that we can put down any pattern whenever we want to and practice on it, get instant feedback with all of the technology. It just makes us really tough to beat.
And the Team USA coaches are available to individuals and teams from all over the world.
If you can get that pin to turn sideways, it's going to be easier to pick up that 10 pin.
With training packages available that give all bowlers access to state-of-the-art bowling science.
What makes us different than any other place in the world is the technology in this facility. We have pan tilt zoom cameras, which let us program them to go zoom in at any part of the bowler's game. We have motion capture, we have ball tracking. We have accelerometers now that we actually measure how fast a portion of the body's traveling. And then we have our goggles, our eye-tracking goggles, that we can actually see what a bowler's seeing. So it's almost like we're actually in their head looking through their eyes and seeing what they're looking at.
And there's certainly plenty to see at bowling's most impressive address.